are back with President Barack Obama. President Obama, you've been in office 18 months. Clearly, you have not begun to walk on water, though people expected you to right after the election. You were told you were too slow on responding to BP. You were too fast on Ms. Sherrod. You haven't explained yourself. No one understands. Sir, can you win as president? Are you on Zoloft, is what we got to know.
Yeah, look, when I look back over these last 20 months, they have been as challenging but as satisfying as any in my life. And I'm going to be able to say at the end of just the first half of my first term that every American in this country is soon going to be able to get health insurance even if they've got a pre-existing condition. I'm going to be able to say that tobacco companies can't market their products to kids. I'm going to be able to say that we've got a credit card law in place that makes sure that you don't have any hidden fees and that you know exactly what's going on when it comes to credit card companies. We've got the toughest financial regulatory reform law since the Great Depression, and we're going to be able to enforce these laws so there are no more taxpayer bailouts. We've saved an economy from a Great Depression, and we have created, I think, a whole range of reforms on education that are going to pay off over the next 10 years so that more kids are going to college, more kids are studying math, more kids are studying science. So,
will they have jobs when they're out of there?
Well, they're going to create these jobs. That's the thing is that when our kids are doing well in school, when we've got the best trained workforce, when they are innovating and creating jobs, through small businesses, that's when America succeeds. And so I feel very optimistic, and I do think that the reason I seem calm all the time, even if sometimes we're going through some turbulence, is I try to take the long view. I try to say, if I wake up today and I know I'm doing a good job, somewhere down the road, that's going to pay off. And people are going to be able to look back and say, you know what, he made that decision based on what's best for the country as opposed to short-term politics. And I think that's the best way to govern.
The fact that your rating is so low, does that bother you? Or can you say it's going to be better?
Well, you know, Washington is obsessed with polls. So I can look historically and I can say my polls at this point are higher than they were, than Ronald Reagan's polls were, or higher than Bill Clinton's polls were, or higher than Jimmy Carter's were. But the truth of the matter is, that doesn't make too much difference because these things change very quickly. And what I constantly am focused on is, am I doing what's right for the country? Am I making the best possible decisions that I can be making? And if I do that, then I have confidence that you know, I'll be rewarded because I think that good policy is good politics.
What would you like your legacy to be?
I'd like the American people to be able to look back and say, this was a time when we tackled a bunch of problems that we'd been putting off for too long. Healthcare, we'd been putting off too long and finally got solved. Education, we're finally making the schools better for our kids. We need an energy policy so that we're not dependent on foreign oil.
Right.
And we're dealing with the challenges to our environment. As I said before, I'm so optimistic about America because I'm optimistic about the American people. Every time I travel, every time I get out of Washington and I sit down and I talk to folks, they are generous, they are strong, they are resilient, they are full of imagination, they are full of drive, they are full of pluck, and there's no reason why America will continue, it shouldn't continue to be the greatest country on earth for decades and centuries to come. But we just have to remind ourselves of what makes us great, and hopefully I'll be able to help lead the country through this difficult time so that we continue on this extraordinary journey that we've been on.
Mr. President, all five of us, we're delighted that you were here and honored to have you. Thank you.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.